Shalom Akyam Kahala Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Wakakwadash. I want to proceed this lesson with giving double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. In this lesson, I want to be going into the curses of Deuteronomy. And the curses of which the real Israelites of the Bible are, which consist of you so-called Negroes, Latinos and Hispanics, and Native Americans. You know, we're the real children of Israel, you know. This is the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, and the 68th verse. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. So Egypt, I'm going to go in, this is a different definition. It wasn't giving me the definition in the BLB, but it says right here, Egypt became synonymous, you know, with sin and bondage. So with bondage, you know, that's just another way of saying, you know, slavery. And it says again with ships. So who were brought over here by these slave ships, you know, these so-called Jewish-owned slave ships, you know, these so-called Negroes. This is the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, the verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Just want to back up on this, you know, look, you know, we were, you know, these so-called Negroes and the Native Americans were sold, you know, and going into Black Friday, you know, this is where it really was going back to, you know, the selling of the Israelites, of the so-called Negroes. This is the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter and the 48th verse. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. And who did he put that yoke of iron on? You know, so-called white man put it on, you know, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. This is an prime example here. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 48. Again, right here, you see a Native American here with chains on his neck. And you see the Negro right here, so-called Negro, with that yoke of iron on his neck, with these chains, you know. So that really comes to show you who the real Israelites of the Bible are. You know, they want to say that these so-called white men over there in Israel are the real, you know, the real Jews. But, you know, that's all. We all know that ain't real. I want to go to, this is the book of Genesis, the 49th chapter, in the 19th verse. Gad, you know, Gad is the tribe of the so-called Native Americans. A troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last, you know. You know, at first, you know, who overcame, you know, the Native Americans, you know. You know, the colonizers, you know, the pilgrims, so, you know, they're the ones who came over here and did the extermination of the people. So, you know, Gad got overcame, but, you know, at the last, you know, and, you know, when, you know, Esau Edom is going to be judged at last, you know, we're going to overcome him at last. This is an example right here. Look at the so-called Native Americans being killed, you know, being chased by these, the so-called white man, Esau Edom, you know, the extermination of the people. Okay, this is just showing you that these curses are upon our people. When did you ever see the so-called white man in fucking chains? We ain't never seen him in chains or in slavery. You know, they want to say the Holocaust, you know, but that was minuscule compared to what we went through as a people. Let me see. I want to go into the book of Hosea, the 9th chapter and the 13th verse. Ephraim, you know, so this just goes into the northern kingdom, you know, from the Puerto Ricans all the way down to the Mexicans, you know. So it says, Ephraim, as I saw Tyrus, is planted in a pleasant place, but Ephraim shall bring forth his children to the murderer, you know. So who do you see bringing their children, you know, from the Americas, you know, Central America, Mexico, you know, Puerto Rico, Cuba, you know. This is just I was going into this this little article right here about the migrants, and it says, you know, some children do make potentially dangerous trips to the border alone or with a smuggler, you know. So we already know about these stories about, you know, these so-called Mexicans, you know, El Salvadorians, you know, going on down forth to the the Cubans, all that, you know, the Northern American kingdom, you know, Northern Kingdom, Slovakia. And we hear these stories of them coming, making these dangerous trips, you know, on trains, you know, through the desert, you know, dying through thirst. We've heard about this. And what other sorts of people do that? No other than it's more of us than any other nation. It says some children do make the potentially dangerous trip to the border alone with a smuggler, according to immigration experts. But in other cases, children travel with older siblings, grandparents, or other relatives and can be split apart by CPB after being caught at the border. All right, you know, they put us in these fucking little camps, you know, these little jail cells with these little gates, you know. You guys seen these you know, these documentaries or these videos of, you know, kids. No, I'm just gonna pull it up real quick. And this is just to show you that the so-called white man doesn't give a fuck about us. Look, you know, look at this is the type of covers that they give these little kids, you know, a little paper fucking foil. You don't ever see the little so-called white kids going through this shit. Nah, you don't. You know, some so-called white people right there, but you never know what nation they might go back to. Okay. You know, so this is to show you that we are the real Israelites of the Bible. You know, not these so-called white people over there in Israel. You know, that's not the real people of the Bible. This is the book of Micah, the 2nd chapter and the 2nd verse. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. You know, you see these ICE agents pulling up, you know, if they know that these so-called aliens, illegal immigrants, are here illegally. You know, that's just bullshit to what they say. And you see them just busting up into their cribs, you know, taking them, putting them in the vans, deporting them back to where they came from, you know. But at the end of the day, this was our land, you know. So okay, I'm going to start from the top. Micah, the 2nd chapter and the 2nd verse. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. You know, this is going back to, you know, what they call us, you know, you so-called Negro, you know, you so-called Spick, you Mexican, you know, Hispanic, Latino, you know, these, you know, wetback, you know, the Native American, you know, full-blooded, you know, or what, you know, Slovakia, doesn't mean to say that, but, you know, we are full-blooded Israelites, you know, through the spirit, we know that. This is, let me get this. So we call it Proverbs. So this is the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter and the 37th verse. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee. So, you know, it's already telling us, you know, they call us other names other than our own heritage, you know, according to our tribe, you know, according to, you know, our biblical nationality. You know, they made these up to confuse us about who we are. You know, calling us niggas, spicks, you know, all this other stuff, you know, wetbacks. The list goes down, you know. They have all these types of names for us. But that just comes to show you who the real people of the Bible are. You know, so with that, I hope I hit my point. And I hope this lesson reached the ears of the hopeful elect. you know, I'm going to say Shalom, Kahala Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, DTA, Abba Baba.